Yes, Kenya. Tamu sana, tamu sana, tamu sana, yes. Before we proceed, let's have a look at Martha Karua's morning tweet some few hours ago. Martha Karua Senior Counsel, people whose voices are muted when the rule of law is violated daily and unnecessary hardships visited on Kenyans suddenly find voice to call for us not to exercise our right to demonstrate. Tukutane Mandamano 20th. That's Martha Karua's tweet some few hours ago. From the tweet, it's clear who Martha Karua is targeting. We are getting some new details that Raila and his team are being pressurized to abandon the mass action scheduled for Monday 20th. And even some powerful countries in the West are also piling pressure on Raila Odinga to abandon the Monday mass action. On Wednesday, lawyer Patrick Lumumba, made some remarks at an interview with Citizen, remarks that angered a good majority of Kenyans. Let's also listen to Lumumba before we proceed.
Monday's protest and the march to State House. I mean, and a lot of people are taking this very lightly.
Very lightly.
This could turn south very easily.
You know, so very lightly, and words are being bandied around, like mass action. And let me use this occasion to share with my audience that mass action is an instrument that was used effectively by Martin Luther King Jr. during the Civil Rights Movement. And Luther King said that any responsible leadership that wants to engage in mass action must satisfy 4 tests. Number 1, they must demonstrate that they have a grievance and they do not want to use mass action to cause confusion and for the purpose of revenge. Number 2, that they must demonstrate that they have exhausted all methods of engaging government, including negotiations and petitions. Number 3, that having found all those methods and doors to be closed, that they intend to ensure that they do not cause injustice to others. And number 4, they must demonstrate that they have a clear program of salvaging the society without causing injustice to others. Let us put the so-called mass action against the Kenyan test, and it fails on all 4. And what we are being told is going to be an insurrection.
Yes. Let me start by saying this. For some years now, Patrick Lumumba has been a Raila Odinga critic. And from the look of things, he might be leaning towards William Ruto's team. And those remarks, in one way or the other, gives us an insight into what a section or some of William Ruto's allies and sympathizers might be thinking. A section of Ruto supporters see Raila Odinga as disruptive, somebody who has not exhausted all the provided avenues. That's what a section of them might be thinking, going by those remarks by Lumumba. And you are seeing clearly how they are wrong. Because all the things Lumumba is talking about, Raila and the Azimio Brigade have all exhausted those avenues. Raila went to the Supreme Court. Instead of the court listening to them, the court abused and insulted them. Hot air. chasing fools in hand. Hmm? Those were the insults the Supreme Court, the apex court, delivered to Raila Odinga and his team. So that truth was fully exhausted by Raila Odinga and his team. Before Raila Odinga started calling upon William Ruto's government to deliver, Raila was silent. To a point, William Ruto was even telling him at the Azimio, we want a strong opposition. Raila was silent, giving William Ruto and his team time to deliver. As Raila was silent, we saw Ruto and his team actually oppressing Kenyans to a point. Appointments in government are only going to two communities, the Kalajins and the mountain. Raila was silent. As I talk, the cost of living is going up on a daily basis. Kenyans are suffering. Instead of William Ruto's government addressing all those issues, what are we seeing? William Ruto creating more positions in government. Just yesterday, William Ruto appointed 50 of his political allies, friends, as chief administrative secretaries, 50 individuals. A day before that, Ruto appointed Rigathi Gachagua's sister-in-law in government. At the same time, William Ruto and his team are saying they inherited a broke government. They are removing subsidies on basic commodities. They are doing away with Kazi Mtani. Corrupt individuals are being given government jobs, and then their corruption cases are being dropped. Top government officials are saying this is a company. If you never voted for us, forget about development, forget about government jobs and services. Yes. While all that has been happening, the so-called Lumumbas and now these individuals now calling upon Raila Odinga to halt, to stop, demanding mass action, they have been silent. When Kenyans are being oppressed by Ruto's government, these same individuals, Lumumba and his team, have been silent. Now that Raila Odinga has announced mass action, with their English now, they are coming to tell us that they know what is good for this country than the millions of Kenyans who are suffering. Yes. I honestly believe that the likes of Lumumba are a big letdown to Kenyans. In fact, Lumumba is an embarrassment to his clansmen. In fact, he's a bad omen. Let me describe him that way. And if I had the powers, this is a man who should actually be, yes. All those are happening. This is Lumumba and the team have been silent. And now they are telling Raila Odinga, Mr. Raila, don't proceed with your mass action. Raila has exhausted all those avenues Lumumba is talking about. But because Lumumba is blinded with this hate for Raila Odinga, he is not aware that Raila Odinga has exhausted all those avenues. Lumumba should just ask William Ruto for a job instead of maligning and discrediting Raila Odinga and the Azimio Brigade. This is not about Raila Odinga. This is about Kenyans. Because all the things Raila Odinga is raising, those are the real issues Kenyans are going through. Raila is just talking on behalf of the millions of Kenyans who are suffering in silence. And even with or without Raila Odinga, at one point, Kenyans will rise against this oppressive government. And that's something that Lumumba and his team should be told. And when that time comes, we don't know whether it will be that Monday. When that time comes, even Lumumba now talking a lot of nonsense, he'll also not find it very safe. As I conclude, I honestly believe William Ruto's government is getting almost everything wrong. Kenyans have a right to demonstrate. That's provided in the constitution. Kenyans have that right. And I'm saying Kenyans have that right because all avenues have been exhausted and they have not yielded anything. Ruto is buying members of parliament like goats. The same members of parliament who should be talking on behalf of Kenyans are being bought like goats in the market, pretending they are joining the government for development. An opposition member of parliament who should be oversighting the government is saying he's joining the government for development. Who will oversight that government? Lumumba and his team have been silent. The judiciary is in the pockets of the government. IEBC, Director of Public Prosecution, DCI, all these independent institutions, government institutions, are all compromised. Which avenues does Lumumba want Raila Odinga and his team to exhaust now? When it's clear all these independent arms of government, elected leaders, everybody's compromised. Which avenue is now left for Kenyans? Kenyans, in fact, have a right to exercise their powers directly. If they can't exercise it through their elected representatives, the Constitution provides that they can exercise that right directly. And on Monday, that's exactly what Kenyans are going to do. Back to Martha Karua Street, Martha Karua is just trying to tell the likes of Lumumba, the West, yes, United States of America, Britain, and all those, Martha Karua is just reminding them that the die is cast, no reverse gear. On Monday, William Ruto and his team should be prepared to meet Kenyans on the streets. Yes, that's the message. And that's what a good majority of Azimio supporters and even the suffering Kenyans want. Kenyans don't want anything to do with the talks here. Let Ruto meet Kenyans on the streets. Yes, let him meet Kenyans on the streets, ladies and gentlemen. Let me stop it there. If you are watching us, but you have not yet subscribed, kindly subscribe, give this video a like. To our fans and subscribers here, I'm very much humbled, very grateful for the kind of support you are giving me here. God bless you, God bless Kenya. If you want to support our forum, I've pinned my number on the comment section. Contact me through the number or feel free to channel your support to the number. Regarding Gachagua and William Ruto, instead of addressing the issues Kenyans have been going through, all they are doing is to insult Raila Odinga, to call him names. Raila gave them an avenue through which they could have addressed the issues Kenyans have been going through. What did they do for that duration? Just insults and attacking Raila Odinga. Raila has indeed tried and exhausted all the avenues. Even the 2-week deadline was for William Ruto to address the issues Kenyans are going through. What did he do? Insults against Raila Odinga, against Azimio. Nipeni tu wiki moja, ni deal na hii mzee. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. politics.